Well, well, well. It's Thursday, baby, and I got a bit of tea for you. Hold on a minute. I need a drink of water. Let's talk about that jobs report, dear. I know that was earlier this week, and we're at the end of the week while we still talking about this because, well, Daddy was partially correct when he said that that wasn't the correct jobs report. Yes, he was partially correct in that statement, you see. Now, he got so upset by those job numbers. He said the Democrats had meddled with him to make him look bad, that there hasn't been that much job loss here in the U.S. of A. That's the part he's wrong about, you see. The numbers are not correct because it just so happens there's an entire industry here in the U.S. of A. that is not included in the jobs report, dear. Because had that industry been included in the jobs report, we would have learned that since April, 1.4 million jobs just in this specific industry were lost in 4 months. I don't think we've ever had a president in our history that in 4 months lost 1.4 million jobs just in one industry, dear. But either way, here we are today. Since April, 1.4 million people have dropped out of the U.S. labor force, 802 of whom were foreign-born, according to the Bureau of Statistics. Farm workers are not tracked in the official monthly jobs report. But analysts agree immigration policy is having an impact generally across the nation. Now, if you're a red hat and you're okay with that because they're undocumented and we shouldn't have them in the fields, and you seem to believe Daddy Dumpy Pants and everybody up there on your TV that we're going to replace the farm worker with machines, well, that just goes to show you, baby, how dull you are and how you know nothing about farming and how that man that was born with a silver spoon shoved squarely up his ass doesn't have a fucking clue about farming either, boo, and neither does the lady that he's appointed to the Department of Agriculture, who thinks teenagers are going to pick the food and that everything's going to be automated by machines. I'm going to use one crop in particular to explain this to you. Cherries. Yes, baby, cherries. You see, there's some crops that if you use a machine to pick them, it will destroy the crop, prevent it from having a full yield in the next year, dear. That's right. See, cherries need to be hand-picked. It just so happens when cherries are coming ripe for harvest, the next harvest has already started to bud on the bush, baby. And so if a machine was to come in and pick those cherries, they would ruin the next crop. And it would destroy the plant in such a way that even if it didn't ruin the next crop, the next yield would be significantly less. And this doesn't just happen with cherries, baby. There's a whole lot of crops like this that if you bring machines in to plow up those crops, it destroys the nutrient impact in the field that prevents the next crop from having a full yield. Lots of crops in the U.S. of A. must be picked by hand, baby. Must be. Or you're basically ruining the next year, and the next year after that, and the next year after that, there's a next year after that. Believe it or not, farming is not as simple as people think it is. People think you just plant a seed, then water it, and fertilize it, and it grows, and you pick it, and you start over again. But that's not really how it works. There's a whole lot of science involved in agriculture, baby. You got to know about climate, which he wants to get rid of a satellite that lets us know about the climate around agriculture. You know, he don't want that there because why? I guess he thinks the machines don't need the data. There's just so much more to it. There's so much more to it than just rolling a machine through a field to pick your food. But either way, I say we start adding the agriculture industry into the jobs report, dear, so we can all see quite clearly how he's been the worst president in our fucking history. Okay, now I'm gonna get to doing what I gotta do, and I got some more tea for you about the census. Yes, baby. My petty is ready to play since they want to fuck with our census today. Get ready. I got some ideas, baby. I'll be back later.